Hey everybody, this is Tim Teal. I'm here with Maury from Maury's Music, talking about some of our new models for 2019. One of the biggest and most exciting new product lines we have is the Modern Deluxe. I'm holding a D18 Modern Deluxe. Some of the key features to all of these guitars is start up here at the top of the guitar, the headstock. For the first time we're using a old script logo from 1933, but because it's Modern Deluxe, this is in abalone pearl, so little touch to it with an elegant look of the logo in a premium material. As you can see, we have gold Waverly tuning gears, again very iconic tuning gear to use. You'll also notice that the frets are gold. It's a alloy, so it's the same color through and through. And to get that gold color actually makes the fret a little harder. So you'll have greater string or greater wear as you play your guitar. So less need for refretting or facing off. Of course, the neck itself utilizes a two-way titanium truss rod. That rod is about 64% lighter than its comparable steel two-way truss rod. And then the shape of the neck is unique to this series. So we found that the OM45 Deluxe that we purchased a few years ago had a very lovely neck shape to it. And it's slightly asymmetrical in its design. Those were all hand carved back in that time period. So this one in particular was very comfortable. So we chose to use that particular barrel shape and combined it with our high performance taper. So out of there's 4 guitars. Out of 3 of them we use 1 3/4 width at the nut, 2 1/8 at the 12th fret to give the best of both worlds. Our OM28, since it's more of a fingerstyle guitar, does have a standard taper, so that would be 1 3/4 at the nut, 2 1/4 at the 12th fret, and 2 1/4 at the bridge spacing. So for fingerstyle, it just gives a hair more room for those guys. Also, something that you can't see besides the truss rod is a carbon fiber composite bridge plate. And basically how that's made is we're using a very thin layer of carbon fiber over top of a Adirondack VTS piece of spruce. So it's lighter than mahogany but stiffer, and so it'll have a great tonal response and good for longevity. Also new for this series is we're using wood binding. So being that this is a D18, it has a beautiful rosewood binding on it. Our 28 series will have highly flamed maple binding. This is a feature you'd only see on limited editions or custom guitars, so felt it was time to bring it over to a standard product. And lastly, talk about the bridge pins. So this is fairly new. We've used them on a few limited edition runs, but we now finally have these liquid metal bridge pins ready for prime time. And we've added a beautiful acrylic red dot. So gives it a sense of dimension, and they're easily identifiable. So anytime you see anybody playing a guitar and they have the red dots in them, you'll know it's probably a liquid metal pin. What's very special about the material itself is it's a zirconium alloy, which does include a little bit of titanium, but because it's an amorphous material, it's bulk metal glass as they call it, it reflects most of the energy put into it. And that translates directly to the strings being, it's the string energy being put directly into the soundboard, and it's a noticeable difference. So all of the Modern Deluxe will have these pins. We will be featuring them for resale in the near future, so keep your ears and eyes posted for that. Also, I'd like to point out the color of the liquid metal pins for the 28 series in the Modern Deluxe. and it's a bone color, basically a coating to give it a more traditional look. And again, we have the beautiful maple bindings, contrasts nicely with the East Indian rosewood. This particular guitar is a 000 28, and in this case, because it's a 000, it's a short scale. So just a beautiful, little warm guitar. Great for some blues. So just a beautiful piece. They sound amazing. Definitely best bang for your buck when it comes to the best tonality for the money. So this is our CEO9 model, which is very similar to the CEO7. It's a OOL body shape. The really difference with this guitar versus the CEO7 is the wood choice. So last year, Chris Martin took a trip to Hawaii, and while he was there, discovered that there's a lot of mango wood from the mango fruit trees that's available. And this particular mango has a lot of figure in it, which is very eye-catching. And he wondered if it was possible to use this as a tone wood for a guitar. So we tried different body sizes, and it's a beautiful tone wood. Seems to work its best on small body guitars. So we thought it's time to do a CEO9 with the mango. Developed a slightly different burst called Mango Sunset. And just moving up from the body, you'll notice the 30 style rope trim around the edge. This one also includes the liquid metal bridge pins. So a nice addition to the tonal quality of the guitar. Moving up the fingerboard, we can see we have the 42 style snowflakes in Ivoroid. And then into the head, we have a beautiful tortoise head plate with the Martin script logo in Ivoroid. And the tuning gears on this particular one, they're a Schaller Grand Tune. And these are really cool because they have like a copper patina look to them, so very fitting with the overall motif of the instrument. Great little guitar. If you get a chance, check one of these out. Also new for this year, we have 3 new Dreadnought slope shoulders available in the 17 and 15 series. The 15 is a Street Master, so the DSS 15 Street Master features that beautiful kind of worn-in patina that's new from the factory. It's great. On the 17 series, we have a Black Smoke and a Whiskey Sunset in the Dreadnought slope shoulder. What a great guitar that is. And you kind of get the best of both worlds from a big boomy sound of a 12 fret, but in a 14 fret design. So it's great. Encourage everybody to play one, and you might own one. As far as limited editions go, we got about 3 of them right now. It's the Sailor Jerry guitars in the custom shop. That old Sailor Jerry tattoo motif is so popular these days. And the way that the custom shop figured out how to take a classic tattoo design with the shading of the wood and doing the inlay on the inside of the guitar as well as the outside, they look phenomenal. Appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Ramin to talk about the new Road Series and some new junior product.
Hi, I'm Ramin, International Instrument Design Manager here at Martin Guitar Company. We're here with Maury from Maury's Music. I'm very excited to tell you about some of our new product offerings that are on display right now at the 2019 Anaheim NAMM show. So we've really taken our time and, in my opinion, upgraded, improved not just the experience for the player, but for the listener as well, with a lot of these new models that we have going to the show. So here we have the model formerly known as the 000 RSG, now known as a 000 13E, and we thought it made a lot more sense to change the nomenclature to sort of be more in line with what we do here in Nazareth in terms of body style, appointment level, and to give a system that people can understand. So this is a 13 because it's full gloss and it has white binding. Some of the changes and improvements that we've made are around the binding. In fact, we've got some really nice inlay in there as well. We have a beautiful, after quite a bit of experimentation, a beautiful pearl pattern, mother of pearl pattern inlay on the rosette as well as on the fingerboard dots. They're just much more visible. We've switched all of these instruments to a properly shaped tortoise pattern pick guard. Formerly, a lot of them were black, and some of the dreadnoughts were actually using a sort of hybrid shape, and we think it looks so much better with a real dreadnought pick guard. So this one is Bilwara or Cirrus back and sides, Sitka spruce top, the sound you know and love. And we wanted to offer something a little bit different. This was sort of at Chris Martin's personal direction. He said, you know, there's a lot of people that would love to have a D18, and they just can't quite get there, but we thought we're gonna give them maybe the next best thing, which is this model here, a D12E. So you can tell that it's a 12 because it's got the black binding. So 10 satin, 11 gloss top, 12 full gloss black binding, and the 13 is a full gloss with white binding. Now, if this instrument looks familiar, it's because it's got the same rosette, the same pick guard, as the pre-2012 D18. So with the sapili back and sides, it's just a really classic looking instrument, sort of do everything from bluegrass to rock to folk. And one really exciting new aspect of these instruments is, if we'll move on to the next one here, that each and every one of these Road Series guitars has a built-in tuner with our friends from Fishman. We've developed this extremely useful tuner. So as you can see, my E's a little flat. Tune up here. Green. Green is good. So one of the functions of this tuner is that if you're plugged in and you're performing and you want to tune your instrument on stage and you hit that little button there, it'll actually mute the output so that nobody else has to suffer through the tuning song, which is something that performing musicians know all too well. So following the line here, if that's a 13 and this is a 12, this appointment level is an 11 because it's got a gloss top and a satin back and sides. Now, something very near and dear to my heart is the Dreadnought Junior. This is one of the first models that I was really a part of working on here at Martin in the design team, and we've made some, I think, pretty substantial improvements to this guitar, which was so fantastic to begin with. But we've changed the body depth, so it's a little bit thinner, brings the body of the guitar a little bit closer to you. We've added a more contoured rolled back edge on the instrument. So, you know, if you've ever had that experience where you're, you know, maybe you wake up in the morning, you pick up your guitar and you play it for 20 minutes and you've got the line right across your chest, you won't have that problem anymore. It's really comfortable. So the combination of the body depth and that back edge being contoured for comfort really represents some real engineering changes to this guitar, but we wanted to also upgrade it with the pearl pattern rosette and the pearl pattern dots. And I think these are some of the best juniors out there. Not just a travel guitar, not just a parlor guitar, but a honest-to-goodness Martin guitar that just performs. So I love these things. Now we have a few really special models this year. This marks the 30th anniversary of our factory in Navajoa, Sonora, Mexico, opening up and making world-class guitars and strings. And so to honor them and some of the employees that have actually been there for the whole 30 years, they're actually at the NAMM show. Some of these employees that have been at Martin since day one 30 years ago. And so we worked closely with Robert Getzel. We even worked with the Mexican Ministry of Culture, and we got a beautiful design together here with the sort of classic image of the golden eagle fighting the rattlesnake on the cactus, which is part of the foundation myth of Ciudad Mexico, so Mexico City. Again, just beautiful custom printed HPL. It has some Macassar rosewood HPL print back and sides, a very stable, sturdy laminate neck, and I just love this guitar. I think it makes a statement, whether you're playing it, whether it's on the wall. It's just very striking. So we have another really excellent anniversary model this year that we're very excited about. Actually, it's a pair of models. One of them is a D35 made in Nazareth, and for those of us who really are fans of the Woodstock event but maybe can't spring for the D35, we have the DX Woodstock, which is such a great sort of memorial piece, a timepiece really. It incorporates the artwork from the original Woodstock posters, which is on the original tickets for those people who actually bought tickets. And some of your customers, Maury, may even have been at Woodstock, although I'm told that many folks don't remember their experiences. So 50 years of Woodstock, and certainly Martin guitars were so strongly and well represented at that event that we really felt like it was just perfect to partner with the Woodstock Foundation and make this instrument a possibility. 3 days of peace, music, and love. Something we can all do with more of. So rosewood HPL back and sides, custom printed HPL top. This artwork, as well as the previous one, by our very own Robert Getzel, who does all kinds of beautiful art. You may have seen his work on the Native American tribute guitar, as well as quite a few others over the years. So this is another Dreadnought Junior, plain top, no sunburst, but again upgraded with the pearl pattern rosette, pearl pattern fingerboard dots, and the new thinner body depth, as well as this comfort custom contour on this rolled edge there, which is just, it's so nice. And until you pick one up and feel it, you might think, oh, how much of a difference can it really make? It makes a huge difference. It really feels great. And last, but certainly not least, the Martin Guitar Company has been making X Series guitars for 20 years. And when the X Series started, I think a lot of people were really kind of scratching their heads saying, what are you guys doing, making guitars with alternative materials like HPL? And it turns out that these instruments have been just phenomenally successful utility guitars for so many working musicians. And so this model celebrates 20 years of X Series guitars innovation, taking risks and really benefiting the average player, we feel, in a lot of ways. And so beautiful Macassar HPL back and sides. It's a Grand Performance cutaway shape. And in a throwback to the original X Series guitars, this instrument has a solid wood fingerboard and neck. So the fingerboard and bridge are Morado, also known as Palfero. The neck is, in this case, it looks like it's Sipo. And the top, solid Sitka spruce, again with our beautiful new pearl pattern, mother of pearl pattern rosette and fingerboard dots, custom label. This guitar just resonates so nicely. I think a lot of it has to do with some of the slight weight reduction you get from the solid wood neck. So slight trade-off, not quite as stable as the Stradibond, but as a sort of throwback piece to the early days of the X Series, we think this is going to be a really big hit with a lot of performing musicians out there. So, between the Road Series and the X Series, I feel like if you're a person who, has $1,200, $1,300 to spend on a guitar, you can walk away with a guitar that is contender for best in class. And that's what we strive for, to make these instruments as beautiful as possible, to make them sound as good as possible, and to make them really totally functional and dependable in a way that we know musicians expect. If you'd like more information about any of these models, I strongly suggest you get in touch with Maury at Maury's Music, and he can happily tell you more and maybe even let you try one out. Thank you.